Where is this now? Just opened it. Just find it here. Okay. Okay, let's. Are we recording already? Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening. Welcome everybody to our Thursday evening. It's 7:05, so we are for now we are on time, but we would like more and more to start earlier at 7 o'clock. Today we've reached the station number 6 of our 6 weekend course, so to say, in getting deeper and deeper in the understanding of needs analysis, assemblies, or let's start here with the number 1. And this is the idea that we share here, is that we would like to have 6 stations where we explain every week different things. And then in a cycle of another 6 weeks, we go deeper into these same stations. For example, in week 1, we've started about us and the restoration. And week 2, we dived into the reduction of one accord. And maybe probably like the Bible or others, the more you read it, the more you understand it. Tanya, can you admit I can't press the button? Okay. And the better we have the understanding of the resolution of one accord, of natural law, of how structure, this is station number 3, and all these things, the deeper we dive, and we maybe then have also people who are sharing what they've done since in the last 6 weeks. So what have they learned about the restoration? What have they put up structure? With the screen sharing, Tandy, can you click admit? This is difficult. Yeah, I got it. Okay. And so week number 5. I can't see my own screen, sorry. How can I make it smaller? So let's go this way. There we can see this a little bit more, and it's also in the other ways. Everyone who was with us the last 6 weeks has understood or followed us here. Station number 1 about us, station number 2, the resolution of one accord, station number 3, structures, station number 4 about the same day, station number 5, the restoration teams. And today we reached week number 6, project needs and this needs assessment. So that we always come from a very practical approach, and we always like to tell people more in depth what's really going on, so that they can prepare the communities and their assemblies to roll it out. And you guys are the first ones on these calls. So you also are very much allowed to give us feedback, what you don't understand and where you need more understanding, so that we can help you to understand, that you can explain it to others. And next time you bring other people with you to the call, and next 6 weeks, we have another 6-week cycle to explain this in more depth, with more substance and new things that we learned and new things that we understood. And that's, as we see every day, the world is changing so much, and we are learning so much about everything. I don't want to. What is this now?
Can I just add one sentence there, Jay? What you just said is so important, that we all understand that we're talking about the 6 basic things. There are 6 stations, that's basic, and not one of them can be left out of assemblies or communities, because the 6 together make the full spectrum of what we want to do in communities. It brings it all together. Thank you.
Okay, exactly. So, and the more we learn, the more we can teach. And as we always say in personal development, only when you're ready to teach, you've really understood the subject, because this is where you start to question yourselves. If you need to explain something to someone else, so actually start thinking it from a complete different angle, and you actually say, how was this? Oh, I heard this, but how can I explain this? And then the new neural pathways has been built again in your brain, where you can explain it better, you understood it better, and from this understanding, you have a better understanding again and again and again. So as we maybe know with movies or books, the more we read, the more we see different and new things. And that's the same with the basic 6 stations. This is just the start. We don't want to confuse you too much, but we want to bring it also down that into a format that is easy to understand, and we will always improve to make it easier, that people can really follow and get excited and say, hey, it's actually not difficult. It's really just get the work done, move one step after the other, and then we are in a year or whatever, we are there where we just said, wow, how did we achieve this? It was so easy. We just followed one step after the other, and then suddenly we have about hundreds of community assemblies working, doing the needs assessments. This is what's today about, projects in the needs assessment. And therefore, I'm probably starting the video. Eunice, anything you want to share on this topic, or shall I go start the video? Okay, good. Stop sharing. I don't know why there's somebody to admit. And then I quickly start the video. Screen share. So many windows open. Yeah. I leave this for a moment standing like this, but just also for the people who came a little bit late, the summary quickly. We're running through a 6 weeks course, which will be repeated every 6 weeks.
Your volume is very low, Jay.
Oh, then maybe I have to speak louder.
Thank you. Good.
Can someone turn my volume on? So we are going through a 6 weeks course, so to say, in guiding different stations. We've now reached the station number 6, which is probably one of the most important steps. Of course, you need to build up until number 6, but this is the needs assessments. Without needs assessment, you really do not know everything or a lot about your community, what's really going on. You have a little bit idea, you have heard a little bit here, you have heard a little bit there, but at the moment when you bring people together and get started, as you say, ask a buddy to go with you and get started, we've prepared a project list, a needs assessment list, which is easy to handle and is just also as a first start. What we believe is that often things are overcomplicated and too complicated to even get started. So if you get a I don't know, proposal of 20, 30, 100 pages that you fill in to get a project, actually, are you really interested in getting started? If you have easy steps to go and somebody takes it in your hand and will take it with you and say, hey, that's fun, let's look what's going on in a community in different projects, or we have all these 17 different restoration topics, let's say restoration team topics, and maybe here I'm handing over to Eunice because this is the next page that we then share, where you can show the needs assessment basic questionnaire, just for people to get started and get an idea of what's going on in their community.
Do you want me to explain it a bit, Jay?
Sorry?
Do you want me to explain it a bit?
No, just leave it there for the next half an hour. Yeah.
That would be difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, so a needs assessment is actually quite easy to do if you do it informally. It's difficult if you do it the formal way, but we are not there, and that's not what assemblies is all about. We really want to know what's happening with the people, what their needs are. Now, if you see these three lines, that's red, orange, and green, that means, is it very urgent? Is it like emergency stuff? Is it just something that really needs attention, or is it something that can wait a little while? And that's very important to know that once we get going. It doesn't help to build a school, but the children are starving without food. We really need to feed them and build a school and help them along, but we have to prioritize. So what we've done is we've put all of the different restoration teams and the subcommittees or their sub teams on this one page. Now, if you work in health or you work in law, just take out that little part, and you don't have to use this form. So this form is just, you can do with this form whatever you want to. You're welcome to use it if you want to. If you don't want to, it's fine. It's an Excel form so that you can just have all the different things there. And what I suggest you do is you take this form and speak to people, have coffee with somebody and say, can I ask you a few questions? And then always go back to the two questions that Kim asks. Number one, if you could change anything, what would you change? And then they say, oh, the children, they don't have food. So if you look at the very first line, it says children don't have food, and it's marked as an emergency. It means that there's children who do not have food. We cannot ignore that and come back to it in 6 months. So the solution will be, because the first question is, what would you change? The second thing is, how will you go about it? Emergency soup kitchens. It could be that the children just need ongoing nutrition or whatever, and it wouldn't be an emergency. So this is what this person tells you, but somebody else will tell you perhaps something different. So if you just work in one area, you can just take that one areas out and just ask questions about that. Now, normally one line is not enough. When I spoke to people, they will start telling you the children don't have food and they also need to be dewormed. And then there's some of those children who do not even have a blanket to sleep under. So you hear the whole story. And if you just take food out of there, we're actually not really doing a needs assessment. So we have to listen and put all of it on there. So if you're in a community where you can ask people these questions and say you do 5 of these, and not one of those 5 answer the things that you are interested in, swap them with the people who did the needs assessment with other people who are interested in the same issues that you have. So we can help one another to draw more people in. But this is a great way to make people aware of the community, of the assembly, of how we're going to work together, of the asset funds coming, and of projects that's available. So we always ask, what is the need? And then what is the solution? And an important thing to look at is how serious or urgent is it to take time with it now. And then in the next time when we talk about this, we'll go deeper into the needs analysis assessment, because you have to look at how many children. You can't just say that the children don't have food. What children are you talking about? And if you just give the 10 children in this block food, but the next block has got 32 children that doesn't have food, it's not fair. So we'll have to look a little bit deeper into what's really the scope of the needs. And then we get to budget in the end. But to start off with this week, we just want to go to the very basic things. And that means speak to the people in the communities, ask them what do they see that they want to change. And guys, I must honestly tell you, if you speak to people, you'll have a list of 50 things like in 3 minutes. And it doesn't matter to which community you go, there are needs, serious needs. These are not just wants, I want a new car or I want this. These are really, really needs in our country and worldwide. So we have to start somewhere, and we don't want to start just with a few. We want to do it in the best possible way. And that's why Kim says, please come on board, look at the needs analysis. Needs analysis leads to solutions, which is projects. And if you do not find any projects in your area that suits the needs that are there, then we have to start talking to the community and say, they're hungry children here. Do you know of anything that we can do? And then somebody will step up. There will be people who have a heart for it. And in the end, everybody will. So the needs analysis actually helps you to fill the gaps where there are no needs. There's lots of projects already, but we don't know if those projects are the right projects to start off with. So we're going to test it against this questionnaire or a questionnaire. You can use any one that you want to use. And once you've done that, then we know we've got the right projects and we can get started. And it's soon. Thank you, Jay.
Well, thank you, Eunice.
I just want to go down this list to just show the people what I'm talking about, if I can. I'm in Pretoria. We have a terrible storm, so I don't think the signal is very good. This is 3 pages all in all. So it's not too much, but you will need more space to write once you start talking to people. One little line won't help, but this is just the template. Thank you, Jay.
I heard that there's in the UK there's a storm going on with the name Eunice. I don't know if it's related to or her family, but yeah. So just
it wasn't me.
No, the energy of Eunice is spreading. So thank you for explaining this. As I said earlier, we want to make it as easy as possible, and we believe that the more we can excite with simple steps, the more people will join and the more people will actually do the work. We don't want to confuse, and this is was always the idea, with too much paperwork, too much governance, too much whatever. We just want to get the needs done and understand what's really going on, that we really can help, or the communities, not we as a whole, we as the whole nation can support the communities in the way that the needs get understood, get analyzed, have the right solutions, and then with the teams that we described in other meetings, when we have the knowledge banks with all the information that you can get, the restoration teams that collaborate from different communities and with the national communities, and then with the international, that we have always the help to get this done. And then we have the project team to help people in getting the needs assessment and analysis to actually projects. And then of course we have the assembly rollout team, where people really go into the communities and start the groundwork and say, hey, have you heard about assemblies? Have you heard about self-governance? Have you heard about that you actually can do a lot on your own? Have you heard about that there is some money available, and how we can go around and we can start, etc., etc., etc. So we see a bright future for South Africa and for the world if we all stand together, and as we will stand all together, going in the right direction and looking at the real needs, from the emergency to the nice to have ones. And what me coming from Europe, whatever, when I listen to some Europeans, they say this is a need, and they said no, this is the first world need, this is not a third world need. So we have also to understand that communities in different areas have complete different needs. Yes, trauma counseling is nice, but food on the table is much more important. Yeah, so I think I open the floor for questions, suggestions, experiences. What have you done the last weeks? How are you? And as we are 25 people, I think I just open the floor for questions, not going around. And we would like to just remind to quickly stay to the 2-minute frame, that everybody has a chance to speak. And if there's certain topics, we have this, Tandy help me here, application form, what's the name, where you can ask for a specific topic that you want to speak about, which you can hand in a few days earlier so that we can prepare and we know that you want to speak about a certain topic. Tandy, what's the name of the form?
It's just the, sorry?
It's called the agenda submission form, and it's on Telegram, it's on WhatsApp. If you need it sent to you personally, I'll do that.
Yeah, no, Tandy sends, actually, I've seen it many times together with the invite. So help me again with the word. Agenda submission form. Okay, I'm deaf with formalities. So, okay, I'm opening the floor, and whoever wants to say something, ask something, please just feel free to raise your hand.
Can these questions now be specifically to needs assessment and projects, and then we can open it for other questions later on if you want to. Please, guys.
Good. Yeah.
Is there anybody here who has done a needs assessment already?
I have Eunice. Can I just say hello to Bianca? Hi, B. I didn't know you were on here. I saw you now. I've done a needs assessment, and then I have one question. Can you email us that sheet? I like it, and it looks good.
Yes.
And a way to go.
We're going to place it on all the platforms, and if you want to use it, you're welcome. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I can also email it if people want it. Yeah.
Can you load it on the chat, please?
Yes.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will, Danny.
Thanks.
Okay, who's got some questions?
I think it would be good if people have a chance to look at this form, download it, maybe have their own ideas about it, but then also speak to people in the community, meet them and say, hey, what's the needs in this? Just get out there and be active, and there probably come few viewpoints to mind that you already know. But if you speak to friends and communities, you also can explain what is the idea behind the needs assessment. Yes, we are forming assemblies where people peacefully come together to implement projects and for people and planet, so that you have a little understanding, and people are getting more and more excited. And I think the needs assessment is not only very good for understanding the needs, but also to getting the message out and also to connect to people and just speak to other people, and you will learn more about your neighborhood, your community, your house next door, and other people, and suddenly you have a team, and suddenly the assembly has started.
I just want to repeat something that we spoke about a little bit earlier today. If we are just waiting for projects to run, we're going to be the world that we have now. There's going to be lots of projects, but the whole reason why we're going this way and why we paid such tremendous prices to get to this place is to take our sovereignty, our self-governance back. And if we cannot bring it across to the assemblies and to the communities, to the people that we love and we care about, the precious people, if we can't bring it across to them that they can be free and they can have family life again and they can live and have enough food. It's not about the money. The money is important, but the focus is actually on the people to have quality of life again. And if we don't bring that to people, we actually haven't made the mark of where we are going. So the needs analysis, the needs assessment is actually a very good tool to start talking to people and say, we want to find out, what do we need in this area? What do you think? And then people will start talking because they have opinions and they have their own life. It's a very good way to make inroads to people that you could otherwise not talk to. Thank you.
Can I maybe just talk and just say something? I'm thinking, if I just sit down and think about just the visual, the things that I can see in my community that needs doing, it won't take that long. I really think that each one of you are able to do a needs assessment for your community, just on the basic things that you see. It's not going to take you long, because if you go through that list, you'll see all the categories. It's going to be effortless, literally, just to go through there. You'll see the problem, but you'll also need to put down some kind of solution. I know I'm on Eve's community page as well. They've got at the moment, there's a man that has pigs, and the pigs are running around, and some dogs, wild dogs, got hold of the pigs, and they've needed major vet bills, and it's upsetting the community. And the horses are on the roads, and people have accidents and die because they hit the horses at night. So that's like, it's a bit of an odd need, but it is not an emergency need, but it's a need. So we have lots of different things in our communities that need to be addressed. But if you just sit down and start looking, you will find the things that are urgent, not so urgent, and then go back to it the next day and start working. This is just impromptu, but can I ask, please, for each one of you, please fill in that form for us. Even if you have to do it various different categories, but fill it in on a separate page if you need to. Just get us a needs assessment. Kim has asked for it. Your communities need it. Without a needs assessment, there's not going to be an assembly in your community. Without an assembly, there's no money that's going to flow. So it's really, really important. Please, people, we need to work together. I mean, we've been asking for needs assessment and talking communities literally since March last year. Not one needs assessment in 1 year. It's highly frustrating when you sit here almost every week and nothing's happened. Let's do something about this now. Let's actually move forward. We can't keep talking because it's pointless. It's really pointless. You know who are the people that talk on your community groups. You know who are we almost call them like Skinner people, people that gossip, but they're not gossipers. They're people that talk about the needs, people that, you know, who are the charities. Pick up the phone, give a call, drive over there, walk over there, go and speak to these people, sit down with that list. If you sit down with people like that, they will give you a list that is huge. They will help you. You just need to reach out to people, put up your big girl brooks and talk to people.
Yes.
Get out of your own skin and just do it. It's not about us. This is about our whole country. We need each other to do this. Even if you just go, can I just say, go on Facebook. There are plenty of people on Facebook that if you just go through the community pages, there are people that complain about things, talk about things, message these people, get in conversations going. There we go. I'm done.
I just want to say, okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you, Tanya. It was very inspiring, and I think everybody who's doing community work or some work in the social sphere, we know how rewarding it is and how quickly we feel better just going out there and connecting to people and understanding more. It's uplifting. It's not energy draining. It's actually uplifting, even if we face problems, because I don't know what this really is. Maybe you're spreading hope. Maybe you feel hope coming up for yourself, but whatever I am involved in community work, it's just uplifting. Okay, maybe raise your hands that we have one after the other.
Somebody was talking. I started talking the same time as you did, I think. Right?
No, sorry, Eunice. Yes, I'm here. So I love the spreadsheet. I think it's going to be very easy for us to actually fill it in. But I just wanted to say that, you know, I have friends of other, you can have friends of other races and friends of different areas. And I used to take my kids to go and meet other people in different areas. And I think if we can have the guts to just take a walk into areas that are not our own and into the poorer areas and really go and see what is going on there. I think that spreadsheet's going to be very easy to complete. And I think that's where we really must start. I'm not going to start with my neighbors and people that live next door to me. I think we got to reach a little bit further than that. So I just feel encouraged to walk a little bit further and go to those people who are really sitting where they live 10 in one house and they don't even have a bathroom or kitchens and those kind of things. It's really bad. And the kids get left to their own devices. They become thieves and they've got no entertainment. They've got nobody that takes care of them. They're just in the streets. It's a disaster. So I think there's a lot that we can go and find there in areas that are a little bit further away from us if we are not, you know, in those areas.
Definitely.
I absolutely agree with you on that we do need to move into other areas, because we have the good news. Every one of us now know that there is project funding coming. And if we don't share that with people who really need it, then we are in the wrong. So let's talk to those people. Just give them the information. Wherever I come, whether it's a waiter or it's a car guard or whoever I meet, I talk to them, and people are very open.
Yeah, and I think that maybe the frustration with the projects and the misunderstanding is where people have an idea and they want to bring that idea into fruition. You know, I've got a fancy this or a fancy that, and I want to get that business going, then maybe I brought that project. But I think that's maybe where the misperception came in. So and why Kim has asked us to do it a little bit differently.
It's a very good idea to also start with different communities, and maybe if you have a helper at home, go with her home and learn about her neighborhood. If you have a gardener or a car guard or a waiter that you like, and connect to the people that you already know. They all live somewhere, and not in your neighborhood. Just take them by the hand and explain what they want to do, and maybe they become the next one who starts an assembly. You know people, you like people, and you don't have to go somewhere where no one knows you and just looks strange at you.
It's that's definitely I think the way to do it, because people are suffering big time, and you don't feel it when you're in a more affluent area. You don't realize how hectic it is.
Yeah. So thank you, Eve. I see you also maybe have to go if I read correctly.
Yes, I'm sorry, I do have to run, but great. I love the spreadsheet, and if we can get it, then we can get that going. I've got to run and go and help a few things, but awesome. Thanks, bye.
Who wants to say something else or share an idea?
I'd like to.
I have a question. First of all, I didn't know that we had to send the spreadsheets to Tundi. It's the first that I've heard that those spreadsheets need to go to Tundi, because I've done a needs assessment and I didn't know that it had to go to her. So this is the first that I've actually heard that these needs assessments need to go to Tundi.
Kim, it doesn't go to Tundi. Kim Gogan actually wants it.
Okay, so then where do we send it to?
To our assembly, then we'll compile it and send it through to her. She's asked this on a number of the calls already, on the calls when Kim spoke, and also on the chat groups. So if you send it to us, we'll compile it together, because Kim doesn't have the capacity to do 600 million coming from all over the world. But if we put it together and we compile it for her, then it would help her a lot.
Okay, that's great, because we didn't know that. And then the second thing that I just want to mention, that what we currently going to do this week in our assembly is we're going to put a little, not a pamphlet, but like a little questionnaire together with 4 questions, and we're going to just go around the community and let them fill it in. And they're really good questions. They're things like, what would you change in your environment at this moment? Okay. And what would you change in your family environment at this particular moment? Give them time to think about it. And then move from the family. What is the most important need, do you think, in your community at this moment? Okay, so we've basically put like a little questionnaire together that we're pretty much going to hand out to different people, stand with them, chat with them. You know, I'm across the road from the lab. So there's a lot of people there, and we can get throughout our community quite nicely with these, and at least we'll be coming with something. We'll have a pen and then they can complete it. So that is our way, because we've already done our needs assessment, but we want to go on that. Okay.
Kim, I think it's a lovely idea that you have. One of the things that we must guard against is to let it look like a handout. We're not here to do a handout for anybody. We're not doing them a favor. We're actually doing ourselves a favor by helping people who are really troubled, who are really in need. Give them the information. It's our country. It's our planet. It's our money. We really need to help one another. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we've got it in our area. I know a lot of people think it's an affluent area, but it's actually not. I mean, we see people in the streets every day.
Our time's up.
Big thing.
Okay,
And it is quite a big thing. Okay.
thank you.
Sorry, let's open the floor for someone else. I love the idea, and then maybe would also put on what is your own personal need, that people are
I'd
starting.
like to say something.
Yeah, just Jake at the moment. Dani has raised his hand. So
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
raise your hand maybe, and then you're the next one. Dani?
Hi, Jay. I just want to tell Tandy in the first instance, I'm feeling that I have got a hiding, being crapped out. I accept it. I'm feeling very guilty, so I have to do my paperwork. What I had in mind is to do a paper file with all these documents, starting with the needs assessment, plus. So I think you guys said that on the website, you kind of put it there and it was numbered in following order. I think so. I didn't get to it to go and download. I was planning to do it the last 2 weeks and I didn't get to it. So that's my next step. I believe that the needs assessment is very valuable as a first step, and it opens for me the door to easily talk to other people. But you still have to have this file, like a first year insurance guy, a flip file, so that you can talk and talk freely and can show what you're talking about. Then. Yes, I don't want to sound very stereotyped, but I feel that if we talk about assemblies, we must start at home and right around my home. There's a lot of other races right around my home that also have other needs. So if I can use my own area as a practice ground, and I can achieve that, then I feel then only I've schooled myself to go out to other communities. So, you know, I don't want to go to other communities that's very far down the economic line, and now I'm the big boss preaching to the choir there. If I can manage myself in my direct environment and I make a success, then I can, by implication, your light will glow.
Absolutely.
And then you have more than 30 people around you.
This is about self-governance. So you have to choose what's good for you. And I agree with you. I would cook a new meal first at home before I invite guests. So if you feel confident that your meal is already quite well cooked, then you can invite others and share it with others. Do wherever you feel comfortable, because this is helping you to learn, helps others to learn. And the more you know about, then you can go out and teach others and help others.
That's right. That's right. All right. So that is my input that I wanted to give for tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I said earlier that we should talk to everybody in our area. But sorry, Jack, are we done now? I actually meant that in the area that I'm in, if I meet somebody from another area, from another country, I tell them about it. It's not just about my community, because when you spread the word, you plant seeds, and you will see the growth in your own area. But we don't have to go into other areas to do it. There's lots of work just right around you. Just stand any place and you'll see there's lots of work. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Jake?
Yeah, I'm just want to put a word of caution in here. We stand in the danger of giving things away, of being the charity that's going to do something for nothing. And I think we must always bear in mind that with this whole process, we're not only supplying the needs, we're also supplying dignity to the people who we're working with. And the ideal is to get them to do the work, to help them and guide them so that they improve their own community, their own area, their own environment. And it's something that they want to do. And yes, we can help them with the finance and all that. We can guide them. We can be leaders for them, or mentors or whatever. But to go into these areas and just try and solve all their problems, I don't think you'll solve their problems at all, because people being what they are, they'll just take advantage of it. And the first time they're upset with everything, they'll just go and burn them, because they didn't pay for them. They didn't put any work or anything into it, right? So it's very important that we're not seen to be being the boss and putting things, you know, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
That's actually, sorry, that's actually why we started by saying there's the roadmap. The roadmap starts, what are we all about? And if that's the message that you give to anybody, no matter what religion, how fat or thin or how whatever they are, we give them the basic of what we've gone through for these 6 weeks. That's giving dignity and respect to people. And anybody, you know, sometimes people have a very nice suit and a lovely car, but they're actually more poorer than other people who do not even have a shirt on their backs. So you are quite right. I think if we can have respect for one another and dignity and work from there, and it's not about the money. The projects are there, and yes, it's got to flow, but we have to move our eyesight off the money onto the people. If the people are not precious and not valuable, and if they do not understand who they are, listen, guys, for all the years we didn't know that. We didn't hear that. We were always belittled. We were always put down in any level that we were in. We have to get to a place where we see what our value is, and everybody's got something to do. You know, sometimes people think because they have degrees, they know more than other people. I know people who's got no degrees who can't even read and write, but gee, they've got plans that boggles your mind. So that is where we want to go, to let everybody shine and do what they can do. Thank you.
What I see is with the needs assessment is also the engagement in the community. It's not that Eunice or Kim Cooper or Kim Gogan comes and fixes the problem then. It's not the idea. It's the engagement. It's the starting of the think process. It's a communication with the people in the community. And maybe you are about interested in education. If you found out that the need is in health, you will find people who are focusing on this in the community. It's always about the community. It's not about outsiders coming in and fixing things or building something without the approval of a community. We know that this is not working. It has to come from the community. But the needs assessment is an engagement tool, I would say, to understand what's going on and to get the people involved with the area, that they get excited.
All right. Can I just ask a few of you a couple of questions?
Yep.
Okay. Bella, can I ask you, how long do you think it's going to take you to do a needs assessment of your community? That's just a simple question. Bella. Traveling Bella.
Hi, Tans. It doesn't take that long at all. We've already got very concise ideas for Fourways area, for example, and townships surrounding that. However, I'm in Portugal, so today or tomorrow won't do.
Okay, all right. Okay, so who's holding all of that?
Yeah, in a nutshell. In a nutshell, it's Tom would be able to help us, and then the others on the call as well. We basically have the same ideas as to what's needed. And we've been focusing on different regions in Joburg as well. So Teresa has like the Windsor area, which is West Joburg kind of.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Okay. All right, Ben. Benjamin. Okay, Ben just can't come to the phone. Philemon, can you unmute yourself?
Good evening, everyone.
Hello. Hello, Philemon. Hi. Welcome.
My name is Philemon from Lady Brand, Free State.
Yes.
And it's my first time in this South African assembly. And I'm so glad because Thandi Michelle I wrote in the chat, that is the Life Force chat, that I wanted to join South African Assembly. Unfortunately enough, Thandi Michelle contacted me. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad.
I'm glad to hear it. Yes.
I also need guidance on how to go about that is needs analysis. I think I will appreciate it if I get assisted in that regard. Unfortunately enough, in my area, I'm well known because I contact people, and I'm a tutor. In actual fact, I'm an ex-teacher who specializes in mathematics. So I've my own project. I think you can see it. I call it Genius Tuition Institute.
Okay.
That is it. Yes, it focuses on mathematics. That is developing the skill, mathematical skill, for the people in the community, because we need scientists. So I would like to appreciate my being here.
I've got your number. We will speak soon. I will message you, and then we'll go forward with that. And the just for everybody to know that the form for the needs assessment is already on the Telegram channel. I'll put it onto our WhatsApp now as well with the description and email address. And then we'll just contact me, contact Eunice, Jay. Let's get going. Let's not hold back. Thank you, Philemon. We'll see you again next week. Okay.
Philemon, how far are you from
Thank you,
Rights? Philemon, how far are you from Rights?
Rate is about, I think it's about 200 kilometers from my place.
Okay,
because I'm
because
just about...
there's an assembly forming.
Assembly forming. Yeah,
yes,
because
there's an
I'm
assembly
also,
in Rights.
Okay, because I'm also communicating with people from Bloemfontein. I'm telling them about these assemblies. So I'm trying to organize, yes, I'm trying to organize, and there are even people from as far as Vereeniging.
Super.
Wonderful.
Great stuff. We'll speak and we'll do it.
Get them onto the meetings.
Okay, thank you very much.
Again next week, okay, please.
Yes,
right.
I will be available for the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, wonderful. All right, okay, can you all just, we don't have enough time to ask everybody, but let's just see. Tommy, do you have any idea how long it will take you to do some kind of needs assessment for your community?
Is that me, Sadiq, Thandi? By Tuesday.
But, oh, okay, fine. Thank you very much. Looking forward to it. I like that. I like your strong answer. Right, Steve, you are busy with other things. Oh, before we go any further, we have to just make an announcement. Almost 2 weeks ago, we were asked to, we asked all of you to start thinking about who we could use as a person for being the liaison between the Global Health and Wellness and the Assembly for South Africa and the community assemblies in South Africa. We asked you to email in all your names. We took the persons that had the most votes. We interviewed and spoke to each one of them. And we have decided on Dr. Steve Hansen. He is not a GP kind of doctor. He's an alternative doctor with serious amount of experience for like many years. And he works with technology, and he's got a practice seeing over 70 people a day. And he's got assistants helping him. So he's going to be a really good person for this. He's got a big support staff. So we will show you him on another time and introduce you properly, but he is on the call tonight, just to make that announcement. Right. Let me see. I've got a message here. Okay. Holongwane, you've got 3 questions. Eunice, do you want to address the questions, or Jay? Can the community I want to serve be a virtual versus a physical? No, it has to be a physical community. It's the area where you physically live. So it can't be your cricket club can't become a community. It can't be your community of scientists that you work with. It's got to be the people where you live. The people that you deal with.
It doesn't mean you cannot network with all of them. But when you vote, when you make decisions about projects, when you build in that relationship, in that community, it could only be in the area where you live. So you can network with all the others and with us, please. And yes, you can. What type of community were you looking at? You muted. You muted?
Apologies. I was thinking along the lines of a virtual school versus a physical one.
Yes, but that's a project. That's not a community, although it forms a community. But you can do that virtual school, but it will span over a number of other communities as well. Yes, you can do that. But that would not be seen that would be seen as a project and not seen as an assembly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll get you.
You have to live in the community where you're going to be helping the community.
100%. That's number 2. And then lastly, am I wrong in, like, speaking to potential recruits, that this is an opportunity for them? I mean, especially people that are unemployed. A question comes up, will they be compensated for their time and energy? So, is this like a potential for self-empowerment and self-employment when I'm pitching it to people?
I would say it's more they could eventually have a project out of it if they address one of the needs of the community. And this is why it's so important to know what the needs are. I might identify 10 needs that I'm not doing a project on, but somebody else will put a project forward in a couple of months to the community, and that will be one of the needs of the, just happen to be one of the needs. And then that could be a legitimate project, which will be then that person being self-employed, empowering themselves.
So just to give you the bird's eye view, I mentioned earlier that we have different teams that are forming. This is the community assemblies. There will be some paid and some volunteers. There will be restoration teams. There will be paid people and there will be volunteers. Then we have the knowledge banks, which we probably, I can't remember, 700 people that we've budgeted for. They all will be paid. And there will have volunteers who contribute. And then we have the restoration teams for national, also quite a big group. Then we have the project management rollout team and the assembly rollout team. There will be lots of paid jobs created. At the moment, we can't promise when we will be able to pay all of this. We're putting the budget forward. And then the community decides for their own budget what they want to have employed and what they have in volunteers. So this is then about, again, self-governance. So
100%. Thank you.
Many paid jobs becoming available, definitely. It's just a question when, but we shouldn't wait until money comes.
I want to say this again, this is not a handout. This is not charity work. This is bringing dignity back to each person, respect, self-governance and sovereignty. And if we do understand that and we go from that level, yes, when you work, you'll get paid. If you don't work, you won't get paid. That's just the way it's going to be because natural law will come in. But I do think that poverty is going to be something of the past, not very far from here. There should not be poor people unless they're lazy and they don't want to work or they want to take advantage of other people, then they'll be poor because they are poor in their hearts, but not because they will not be sufficient to take care of the people. And that's actually why we want to look at the needs, to take care of every one of the needs, to see where the gaps are, to see where we can help people and where people can help themselves to do it. It's not, we are not going into any community to change things. I'm going to work in the community that I live in, not in other communities. Jay, I think we should address, because it's 8 o'clock already, just address some of the questions that people had about the ratification.
Should I say something about this?
Yes, please.
Okay, so yeah, it's already 8 o'clock, so I just try to make it very short and precise. You probably have read about a few messages that Kim posted forward about what she named the dissolution of the global PGSD, which will be partly absorbed into the global Peace and Restoration Consortium. We from the Assembly South Africa always felt that a lot of stuff that the PGSD was putting out there is very theoretical and focusing on what the most important needs. So this is why we continued with the plan, people first projects and planet and plants, planet projects, so that we really care for our planet. We were always very project driven, and I think this is exactly what we understood always. What Kim wants, restoration is the main word, what we are really looking forward, and this is where we went forward. And I think we've done exactly the right thing, which is just proven to be right now by listening to Kim and her clear messages. She changes the scope for many others who were very stuck in systems and paperwork and line out. We never wanted to get stuck there. So we were always focused on what is important for South African communities. And I think just we continue the way that we started. It proves, if we understand Kim right, the right way to be, and where the needs are the biggest. I think this is probably in a nutshell what Kim wants us to focus on. That's why we are also very happy that week 6 is about needs assessment. We are about projects, about restoration, people, planet, dignity, self-governance, and that was always the focus.
And I just want to add this one thing. None of the work that we've done up to now was for nothing. We didn't waste any time. If you worked on ratification, do not think that the work is done. Listen, Kim didn't take the assemblies away. She changed PGSD and moved it into the People's Consortium. But that does not mean that assemblies are not there anymore. We do need an assembly. We do need officers that can help us along and spread the word and open the way for lots of people. So none of our work is for nothing. Please don't stop with what you've done. If you are in a new area, please choose and vote for 3 officers and get going on all the work that we've done up to now. It stays exactly the same. None of that has changed. The ratification was never, Kim said this from the beginning, you don't have to be ratified to be funded. So the ratification, when we asked for you guys to do the lawful component, we're still asking that. But that's not your focus. That's just the beginning point. A lot of new assemblies started, and that's why they did the ratification. And it's important to do it. Not sending it in doesn't mean it's not been done. Once you've done it, it solidifies an area in your community that says we've got a footprint here and we are doing the work here. So keep up the good work, keep on doing it. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Eunice. In the next 6 weeks, we go again through the cycle where we also show how we actually planned it. And has not changed a bit, because we always felt people are the most important, the community is important. It doesn't make sense to focus on things that maybe even the country is not ready for. But projects we always can implement. Projects, needs assessment, community work, this is what we always can do. This was always our focus. So I think we are on the right track. We haven't changed our understanding. We are committed to getting projects done to help the people in the communities, to help themselves. It's not us or Kim or Eunice or Tandy going there. It's to help them to raise the community, to start projects there, to be in self-governance, etc., etc., etc. So I think that's everything from my side. If there might be a question or one or two.
Can I put out a challenge there for next week? For the next 6 weeks, we're going to be quite interactive. This is the last evening that you sit looking at us. We're going to sit looking at you. We're going to be yes, thank you for the smiles. It's going to be much more interactive than it's been up to now, because it's all about you. It's not, we are not the people, you know, we've done the basic thing. We've laid the ground, basic ground, what do you call it? We've covered the ground. Now we've got to build on it. You know, if you do a foundation for a house, people don't see that afterwards, but then building the house, each 1 year, please bring the bricks. Let's build this house. Bring your part. You've got something special to share with the other people. Come with something prepared, even if it's just one sentence. Come prepared and share it. But yes, I'll give you a run for your money, not to be passive. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Love you lots.
Thank you. See you all next week. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Goodbye.